Welcome back to the Week 9 Monday Night Football edition of the Prop Shop. I am your host, Bobby Stanley, also known as PropHolliday, rocking with the GoldBoys. We have a full NBA slate tonight, massive NBA slate tonight. We have Monday Night Football between the Bucks and the Chiefs. For this episode's opening monologue, I do want to talk about the presidential election tomorrow. No, you didn't come here for that. I'm fucking with you. We're going to talk about the NFL playoff picture because we are through the season here at Week 9. Yes, we have to wait for the end of Monday Night Football tonight, but I'm going to go over the playoff picture midway through. AFC, Chiefs, Bills, Steelers are your top three in the AFC, followed by Texans, Ravens, Chargers, and Broncos. If the season ended today, that would be your playoff seeding. Outside looking in is your Colts, your Bengals, and your Jets. At face value, I can see some jockeying between the seeds. I can see the Broncos falling out. Obviously, I think their defense is one of the better ones in the league. But with Bo Nix, I would be reluctant to believe they're still standing there. Bengals and Jets, I do think have a shot to move up to that 7th wild card spot. But just looking at this, I would say these are essentially your playoff teams minus the Broncos. Bengals and Jets are going to be fighting it out. Chargers going to be a tough out in the first round. If they do get in. Ravens, I think, could move up in the pecking order in terms of seeding, and the Chiefs are still undefeated as of right now before Week 9 kickoff. Let's go over to the NFC. Commanders, shocker, Commanders sitting at 7-2. Lions, Commanders, Falcons, Cardinals, Vikings, Eagles, and Packers. Outside looking in are your Bucks tonight, your Bears, your 49ers, and your LA Rams. This one's a little more muddled. I can see the Lions staying at the top seed, the 1 seed in the NFC. Commanders sitting at 7-2. Is there going to be a rookie wall for Jaden Daniels at some point? You have to expect some type of regression. Now you're starting to build game tape on him where you're scheming for him later in the season. Falcons, I think, could surprise people, move up to that 2 seed in the NFC. Cardinals, the whole NFC West is up for grabs. I'm a Rams fan, but between the Cards, the 49ers, and the Rams, I mean, even the Seahawks aren't out of it. That's going to shake out over the next few weeks. That I feel very unconfident about in the NFC West. Vikings, I feel good about a wild card spot. Eagles and Packers, you could see some jockeying there, but I feel pretty confident in the Lions being up in the top 2, and I think the Falcons can continue. They're playing some good football. So Bucks, Bears, Niners, and Rams. Looking at that group, Bucks have been just destroyed with injuries. Chris Godwin out for the rest of the season. Mike Evans, he's out at least for tonight. Not sure how far along he is. Bears, you gotta expect a rookie wall for Caleb, who's just been Jekyll and Hyde all season, and the coaching's pretty bad in Chicago. Let's throw those two out. You got the Niners and the Rams. They're going to be fighting with the Vikings, the Eagles, and Packers to get in there. If you're looking at it as a wild card, I don't feel great about my Rams or Niners as a wild card, but those two teams, one of them can take the NFC West. So that's looking at the NFC playoff picture. My overall rankings I did just on my own personal level. Who do I rank regardless of conference? Chiefs at 1, Lions at 2, Ravens at 3, Bills at 4. I know the Texans just lost to the Jets. It's really hard to keep a team down 3 weeks in a row, especially that Jets team. I put the Texans at 5. Falcons at 6, Steelers at 7, and yes, I know the Steelers beat the Falcons in week 1. This list is subject to change. I do think the Falcons are playing really good football. Vikings at 8, Packers at 9, Chargers at 10. And a couple trends that stood out to me. 6 of my top 10 are in the AFC. 4 of my top 5 are in the AFC. The AFC's top heavy. It sucks to be an AFC playoff team outside of the Lions. Are we heading towards Lions Chiefs? No, we're not necessarily heading to that because it's not how the NFL works. But that's how I'm looking at it going into the playoffs for now. Let's talk about game preview for tonight. Week 9, Monday Night Football. 9.5-point underdogs for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team heading into Kansas City. Yes, they are undefeated, playing in Arrowhead. Bucks have lost both starting wide receivers. We already talked about that. Godwin done for the year. His ankle injury was disgusting. Mike Evans gone for tonight. On the other side of the ball for the Chiefs, also battling injuries. I mean, obviously, Rashee Rice, Pacheco, they've been out for a while now, but Juju Smith-Schuster, add him to the list. He's out. I don't think Baker Mayfield goes down without a fight tonight. I don't know if they cover the 9.5, but according to PFF, which I trust for a majority of their rankings, not all of their ratings, but some of their ratings, they have an advantage, the Chiefs, in both offensive and defensive line tonight. When I'm handicapping games, if you can win at the line of scrimmage, I think that's going to dictate the rest of the game. So for me, the Chiefs have one hell of an advantage. and the Bucks are essentially playing from behind. What's the total sitting at real quick? I think it's at 46.5, 45.5. Total sitting at 45.5 over on DraftKings. Let's go into my plays for tonight. DeAndre Hopkins, my boy talked about him in the chat. He's got a same game parlay Discord in my Discord tonight, and it's kicking off with DeAndre Hopkins first tutty, Kareem Hunt first touchdown in the first half. He's got a lot more in there, but I like Hopkins tonight. It's a second game with the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, I mentioned Juju is out. You get another week to learn the offense. I'm not going to bombard you with coach speak because that's what they're going to give us at this point, but guy is a former three-time first-team All-Pro NFL wide receiver. Last week in his first game against the Las Vegas Raiders, catches 2 passes on 3 targets, 32% of snaps. I think his snap count is significantly going to go up tonight. Weekly coach transcript, I read through some post-practice interviews. They said he's picking up Matt Nagy's playbook. That's all you're going to really hear. But I went and rewatched all 3 of his targets last week. Everything was to the perimeter. Everything was to the sideline. I have to imagine they're going to send him on some go routes tonight. I know you think that's going to be Xavier Worthy. They're going to send him deep. I also think they're going to try to get the ball in his hands early. Maybe some screens, maybe some slants, short yardage situations on third down. My play on Hopkins is over 3.5 receptions. I got it at minus 128 on FanDuel. It's probably still juiced. I wouldn't play it at 4.5. If it went to 4.5, stay away. At 3.5 with the juice, he caught 2 of his 3 targets in 32% of snaps last week. That snap count probably going to get closer to 60 or 70%, depending on the game script of this. But you have to imagine they're going to get him involved. They need to get him involved. If you're looking at the other Chiefs wide receivers, it's Xavier Worthy, rookie, speedster. He doesn't know the full route tree. It's Justin Watson. I'm a Justin Watson homer. I don't know why. He's won a lot of money for me over the years. And then McCole Hardman. Those are your 3 wide receivers with Nuke. So he's going to be out there. You have to think they're going to make him the first read at the very least on a handful of plays tonight. So over 3.5 receptions is where I'm going on my first 1-unit play. But first, a couple words from DraftKings. DraftKings, they have an awesome offer. If you bet $5, you can get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Perfect for new users looking to jump in. Just follow the link in the description. You must be 21 plus, 18 plus in Kentucky or Wyoming. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Instead of going with a second play tonight in NFL in a game that's a 9.5-point spread, is it still a 9? Yeah, it's still a 9.5-point spread, juiced all the way over. How we feel about the weather should impact the throwing game. No, I didn't see a weather report just yet, but let's pull it up for my boy in the chat. Kansas City weather tonight. I got my bet in last night. We are seeing 62, and the chance of precipitation drops pretty significantly after 6 o'clock. It's looking like 16 to 18% chance of rain. That's not that high. I wouldn't shy too far away from it. Winds are at 6 miles an hour. So I wouldn't go crazy with the weather here tonight. It looks like it's raining now. Maybe we get a soggy field, but that's about it. Before I go further into that, I want to talk about my second play for tonight. I stayed away from the game. It was a blowout. I didn't want to pick between the trade or, what's left, the Cade Ottens, whatever's left of the Bucs offense, which running back, Bucky Irvin or Rashad White is going to show up tonight. I didn't want to play that game in a game that could be a blowout and game script goes to shit. I just went over to NBA. First NBA play that I'm giving out here. Alperen Sengun over 17.5 points at minus 110. Knicks playing the Knicks tonight, but the Rockets are at home. Knicks bottom tier team in the league in terms of defending the paint, defending the pick and roll man, and defending spot up shooter. Sengun gets all of that. Now he's had a rough stretch the first 5 or 6 games of the season, but he's had a lot of touchdowns. Wemby twice, Dallas top 3 in paint scoring, Golden State number 1 in paint scoring. So we haven't really seen the numbers from him. But if I look at the makeup of this Knicks team, they have awesome wing defenders in Josh Hart, in OG Anunoby, in Mikal Bridges. I think you're going to want to run that offense inside out tonight through Alperen Sengun versus a Jalen Green and let him kind of do a number on Cat. So I love over 17 points. I think the line's still at. So I would play it to 18.5. I wouldn't go much higher than that. But I see him as a focal point of this Houston Rockets offense tonight. Averaged 21 a game at home last season. Rough start on the matchups, but he gets a break here from the New York Knicks. Before we go into the touchdown liquor cabinet, let's hear from my boy Brad Thomas.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the GoldBoys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the GoldBoys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming back. We're going to go to the touchdown liquor cabinet for Monday Night Football Week 9. Top shelf. I love Kareem Hunt to score tonight. I cannot give that out. It's minus 175. That is not in my nature. But using that PFF ranking, using that PFF website in the grade sheet, they have an advantage on the offensive line. They have an advantage in terms of inside the 5-yard line. I do think Kareem Hunt punches one in tonight. If you want to add that in your same game parlay, that would be my top shelf. But putting one unit at minus 175 on Hunt when he could snap his leg on any play, God forbid that happens, I would not give that out. But adding it to a same game parlay, I feel very good about Hunt getting in the end zone tonight. Just not enough value there for me. Voice of an angel, diabetes, you're my hero. Mid shelf is where we're living tonight. I'm going to go with Nuke Hopkins plus 1 over on FanDuel. This is a half a unit play for me. Put on DeAndre Hopkins to get in the end zone. They're going to target him at some point in the red zone. The back end safeties of that Tampa Bay defense, I think, are suspect at the very best. Their pass rush also not that great this season. I like Nuke Hopkins plus 180 on FanDuel. A little bit more acclimated to the offense. Higher snap percentage, I think, tonight than what we saw against the Raiders. So don't be shocked if Tampa Bay puts up a fight and comes out there and, puts 7 points on the board in the first quarter. I don't think they're going to close out the game. I don't think they can contend like that. But Nuke Hopkins plus 180 as a half unit play for me. My Well Vodka is my fun one. I always come with some rando. I will shout out Jazz real quick. My boy Jazz over in the Prop Shop Discord. He loves Nuke Hopkins' first touchdown at 10-1 over. I know it's 10-1 over on FanDuel. I just saw it. I like that as a Well Vodka. Throw $5-10 on that. Nuke Hopkins' first touchdown score of the game. My Well Vodka going on the other side to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Ryan Miller, 950 on DraftKings. Last week, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 41% of his snaps were in the slot last week. Two of those targets were in the slot. KC allows more fantasy points to the slot. 56 of the fantasy points they allow to wide receivers are in the slot versus to the other 44% on the perimeter. That's the highest variance in the league. So they're giving up more fantasy points to the slot. I like Ryan Miller tonight. You can make a case for Sterling Shepard. You can make a case for K-Dot. And I'm going with the long shot here, plus 950. I do think there's some value there. And that slot, that nickel cornerback for the Chiefs is the weak point. So, Well Vodka, Ryan Miller, $5-10 if you have it. If you have it, no sweat. Ryan Miller, $10. I think he gets in the end zone. Cross Sport Parlay. First one I gave of this, I think we missed it by 1 3-point or something like that. I can't remember. This one I'm bringing back tonight. Full slate of NBA. I'm doing NFL and we're going Nuke touchdown, DeAndre Hopkins touchdown, Justin Watson 25 receiving yards in the Monday Night Football game. I want you to parlay that with Colin Sexton of the Utah Jazz, 20-plus points tonight, and Şengün, 20-plus points tonight. $10 pays $375, $385 with your $10 bet back over on FanDuel. Şengün 20-plus, Sexton 20-plus. No Jordan Clarkson, no Larry Markkinen, high-paced Chicago Bulls. Sexton 20 points, DeAndre Hopkins touchdown, Justin Watson 25 receiving yards against the zone defense of the Tampa Bay Bucks. That's where he does most of his work. He's too white to beat man coverage. What can I say? Crossbar parlay plus 3750. Lock these ones in. And Nuke Hopkins over 3.5 receptions. Şengün over 17.5 points. This is my last show for a little while. My is due this week with our second kid, so I'm going to take some time at home to make sure she's getting better, and I do some quality family time. So I will see you upon my return. In the meantime, let's go out on a cash. Have a good rest of your Monday night.